Good afternoon, and I am more than happy to welcome Michael Collier. Hi, Michael.
Hi, how are you, Sandy?
He's running for, and I didn't put the zone down, the area number.
Trustee Area 2.
Trustee Area 2 against Charlene Metoyer.
Yeah.
French. Okay, Michael has been a resident of Costa Mesa since 1975. He's been married for 34 years. He has 4 children. 3 are Newport Mesa graduates. 1 is a sophomore at Costa Mesa High School.
So he'll be the 4th Costa Mesa graduate.
Right. And 6 grandchildren. Good.
Yeah.
And he has he's been a public and private school teacher for 16 years. He has been PTA president. He is the OCC Alumni Association, past president of Little League, Newport Mesa Foundation, Segerstrom grant recipient, and now has his administrative credential. Wow. So I've got questions, Michael.
Let's ask him.
Okay. What do you think are the 3 most important issues facing Newport Mesa next year?
I've been thinking about that a little bit. I think the first one is we need to make sure that we are trying to get rid of the distractions that we have. We have lots of distractions, so distraction control. I mean, if you look out there, everything that's happening seems to be a distraction that keeps us from our course of action. We have lawsuits, we have negotiations, we have, you name it, it's out there. And what we've done, to solve some of our problems that we have, well, some of the issues that are coming up are issues that I talked about 8 years ago when I was on the board, and they're still not resolved. But yet the board has done a good job, and they've hired a superintendent who is supposed to be able to handle some of these issues. We need to free him up so we can do what we've hired him to do. He's a guy who supposedly is able to work with schools and get them to perform better. So I'd like to see him do that. So we need to get rid of the distractions, manage that. Which leads me to my next thought. I think the number 2 thing is probably rigor in the classroom. We need to make sure our classrooms are good for learning, good learning environments, that they're set up in such a way where the kids can actually learn the things that they need to learn that will help them. I guess some of the jobs that are even available, some of the jobs that are out there now, we're training kids for jobs that don't exist. And that's an important concept to think about. I really appreciate the way the board has responded with the programs, the academies that they're putting in place so that we can do that. I'm hoping we get to implement those soon. I see Common Core. I haven't really made a decision totally on Common Core, but I see good if we can get it to do it, but you know how those government programs can be sometimes. But we need to make sure that's happening. My goal for a person who's graduating would be to make sure that they're able to get the stuff they have to learn, that's necessary to learn by the time they're a sophomore or junior, and they can spend their senior year doing special projects or other things that will help them in the goals they're doing. You know that social media is a big thing now for all the people, but there's nobody teaching social media. We need to pay attention to those little issues and prepare people for those kind of jobs.
When you say teaching, you mean you're talking about the dangerous parts of social media, or the selling?
The whole thing. I mean, there's marketing for social media. I work now a little bit in social media compliance, so we're seeing some of the issues that are coming up based on that, and that needs to be addressed. The teachers need to be abreast of what's going on and be able to share those things, or at least get the kids working on projects with internet and social context. And I'm sure we'll get to talk about that in a second. But that's the kind of thing we're looking for. We're looking for the classrooms to be places where the kids can learn and they can progress and they can master the content they have to master and move ahead with the things that they want to learn. It takes some structure that way. Which leads to my third thought is health and nutrition. We have a pretty good nutrition plan in place with the schools, with all the things that are going on in the elementary schools and high schools, but we need to really concentrate on helping the kids to be able to function correctly. We have a lot of obesity. We have a lot of kids that are spending time not in physical environments, doing those things. That's important. Let me give you an example. My 15-year-old doesn't get a chance to, because of scheduling at Costa Mesa High School, sometimes participate in after-school sports. Because in order for him to take the academic classes that he needs to do what he needs to do, they're offered at the beginning of the day or at the end of the day. So he can't really get into the sports program necessarily because he wants to do band. Maybe a program where we're working with the community to have people set up at the churches or at gyms or other things where kids can actually work at after school, or have some trainers that are helping the kids with the nutritional things. that they need in their life. I mean, we're telling kids to give up junk food, but we're not teaching what to substitute necessarily in the right things or making things sound good. So we just need to think about, be conscious of those things as we're trying to develop the whole student.
Okay. What is your understanding of restorative justice, and do you agree or disagree with your understanding?
With my understanding, do I agree or disagree? My understanding is that restorative justice is a program where we use a lot of community resources to help with our evaluation of whatever the issue happens to be. In concept, that's good. If the people are righteous and they're doing the things they're supposed to do and they have the same moral standings as I do, or you do, or anybody else, or something like that, maybe it's good. There's a time, though, in a student's life where they need to learn to be responsible. If you look at our prisons and out there now, I don't know, 98% of the people didn't do what they said they did. Yeah. And that's because we have, juries that do this or whatever they do. I think we're being too coddling at times for some of these people, and we'd like to get them off the streets and keep them off the streets and out of prison. I know I've had that conversation plenty of times with my kids. Do you realize what you did and what the consequence would have been if it had gone the other direction? Do you realize that if you did this, we need to make sure the kids are responsible, and more importantly than that, the parents understand that they're there. They can't always stand up for their kids and help them to be, without, the kids have to learn to be model citizens. I don't know that's necessarily the teacher's part to do that. I think this is one of the distractions we have about policy and procedure, how to enact some of the rules we have. We have lots of rules that are being, we go over them, we do it as we go. We need to be steady with some of our disciplines and our other thoughts if we're going to hope that our kids turn out to be good citizens. But it's not just our schools, it's society as a whole. So we have to really pay attention to that.
So you would agree with what the concept is in the district of restorative justice?
I don't know what the district has said about restorative justice.
Yeah.
I think the kids need to be responsible for their actions. Okay, that's basically it, and I work towards that. I don't necessarily believe the community should help them to make decisions based on that. The kids have to learn to be responsible for the things that they have.
I think you sort of touched on this, but what do you think is the future of technology in the district?
Basically, we're discovering by watching other school districts out there that you can't buy equipment and it not be obsolete the moment you buy it. We see LA Unified and some of the things they did with buying tablets out there. And already they're being stolen, blah, 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 et cetera, all the things that happen with that. Things are just happening. We need to probably get into a plan where the kids can bring their own device. That's going to be it's going to be difficult at times with some of the people, because I don't know that the teachers are able to teach on my particular cell phone. So, but we're going to have to put programs in place where people can learn and teach our teachers techniques where they can say, so come up and demonstrate how you do it on your device, or whatever it happens to be. If the infrastructure is set up in that kind of a way, we can actually do well. But bring your own device. It's going to get to the point where we can't afford to keep paying for things. We'll have labs set up, I'm sure, some things, but desktop computers are obsolete. Laptops get obsolete after a week. If we're training people on a tablet that's going to be obsolete in a month, what's the point? I can see us possibly making some arrangements with some outside person who would like to sell to our kids, or promoting a product, or doing whatever they're having to do that way. And I don't know, if we're working through the foundation or other people like other groups like that, maybe the kids could buy something they would meet their needs now for their high school career at that point, or receive grants if they need it, or whatever happens. But I don't think the district should spend money on all the extra technology. It's going to be obsolete in a week.
Oh, sorry.
You want to pause it?
I can't.
Oh.
So we're just going to continue, and we're going to ignore that happening, and I'm hoping everybody's picked it up. Okay, so how much of the budget do you think you understand, and how do you think the money could be saved or better spent?
Well, one of the things that I think I have an advantage over some people is that I served as a board member before, so I had an opportunity to study the budget, and I know a pretty good part about it. So the basic budget is set up. 85% goes to staff, and 15% goes to the kids. So it's with that 15% that we have that we have to work with all the programs there. Now, there's another part of the budget people don't discuss. When people look automatically at some of our buildings or other things going up, that comes from other sources other than our main budget. So we have some repairs that go there, but we raised money through bonds and other things to pay for the buildings there. So it's not money that we have available to us. From time to time, there's money that comes in a one-time source or some sort of a thing that we can use for other things, and I know we try to use the budget money the best we can in a one-time thing instead of giving it for salaries, which we can't necessarily support as we're going along. So there's a lot of confusion about that kind of thing. Back when we first started raising our kids here, we had the embezzlement that took place, and we brought in Dr. Reed at the time. We call him lovingly Mr. No, because he says no to so many things that we're doing, but it's because of him saying no and because of him building up the reserves and other things that we're stable now at this point. And he's respected throughout the state of California and all over the place for his abilities and things that he's done. We listen to him and we follow his advice on a lot of issues. But he's going to retire in a few years. Who's the next person in line, or what are we going to do? So we'll look at that, I'm sure, as a board to figure out what we're going to do as the steps go forward. If you look at our budget, which is based on the property taxes, we had some glitches a few years ago with property taxes going down and not having money come in, and everybody had to take a little cut here and do a cut there. I'm hoping that it gets to the point where we can actually bring it up to the things we did. I guess the teachers got a little bit of a raise this year, not very much, but we're hoping that things get better. We can do that kind of thing. In an ideal situation, if you look at the public schools, their ratio is 70%, 65 to 70%, and the rest goes for the students. We need to pay attention to what our students are getting and put our priorities in order. One other thing I've been thinking about a lot is the misconception that we're not spending the money enough on different programs. Do I have time to talk about that for a second?
Yeah, sure.
So, for instance, Common Core, we put it together with a group of people that actually came in and they were advisors for that. One of the issues we seem to have is sometimes we want to pay the money into a whole program, and then we get some feedback that we're not giving the teachers enough chance to do what they need to do and develop on that. If we do it the other way, where we come in and we give a basic program, we get the teachers to develop it on their own, we like them to work too, but sometimes I think they're being overworked. So we need to get that balance between what's going on. And I know everybody has a lot of work, but we want to put together a program that's the best for our district. And I think that's where the issue is. Paying attention to those ratios, paying attention to our 15%, and then designing our budget in appropriate ways. As far as cutting back, transportation is a big thing. Some of the lawsuits we have would be big if we can cut those out. That's back to the noise issue also.
Right.
So, I mean, there are ways to cut. We'll just pay attention to what we have. So.
Okay, we only have just one more second, really. But
Sorry.
My favorite topic, actually, is getting an intern. I've been wanting everybody to have an intern now. So what do you think about that?
The concept is great of having an intern, but you have to pay attention to the laws of the state of California. I researched that, which was what a board member does. And I found out some interesting facts about that.
I'm sorry. We're going. Can you tell me afterwards?
Yeah, I'll tell you afterwards.
And I'll put it out. Okay?
So I guess I should say no.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
Michael, thank you so much.
Sure,
really appreciate it.
All right.